welcome to the Kelly Roach Show, a place for no fluff, easy to implement, 20-minute or less business and leadership lessons to help you build a sustainable business that scales. Let's get started. Today on the podcast, I'm giving you a strategy that can help you to literally double your sales. And it is so simple, you're not going to believe it. All right, let's dig in. I've always shared one of the things that I love the most about starting and building new companies is that it allows me to remain a beginner. And I love remaining a beginner because simplicity scales and complexity kills. So the more that I build mastery as a business owner and leader, building this portfolio of companies, the more that I stay attached to the foundations of success, the easier it's going to be for me to achieve my goals. I know that's counterintuitive, but I want to share that with you here because what I find is that most business owners get bored of the fundamentals and they forget the foundational things that made them successful to begin with. And then because of that, they start to struggle. The more that you can retain a beginner's heart as you develop mastery as a business leader, the faster and easier and more profitable your businesses will become. So I want to give you a really specific example of something that just happened in one of my new companies. So I have a new business. It's a couple months old. It's called the Virtual Business School. And the Virtual Business School I created to really disrupt higher education from a business learning standpoint because people are spending massive amounts of dollars on higher education, getting degrees in business, and tens of thousands of dollars on business courses and business coaching when they don't have the foundations in place for real world actionable strategies to set up a business and get it growing. And so I wanted an on-demand learning platform where people could be in control of their own educational journey for a fraction of what they're spending other places. And, this really goes in line with the overall mission that I have with the business advisory because we're continuing to raise the bar as far as the level of people that we want to bring into our programs. We want people coming in that are already running established businesses. And that's what really works for us as far as our vision and goals around wanting to help people to scale multiple 7 and 8-figure businesses. Okay, so we want people going to the Virtual Business School to get started, to get the foundations in place, to get their businesses growing, to stand them up appropriately. And we only want people investing in coaching once they have a clear offer, a repeatable system, and clients, right? Because far too many people invest in coaching that aren't ready for coaching, and then they get furious with the coach when they can't grow their business fast enough to make the investment. And so we need to stop that trend. We need to break that cycle. So we're putting a lot of parameters around who we bring into the business advisory, but we still want to make sure the people that aren't ready for the business advisory have a place to go. Enter Virtual Business School. Okay, so Virtual Business School is a brand new company of mine. It is on-demand business education. We have products ranging from $27 up to $10,000. It is primarily independent learning geared towards adults. All of that said, the way that we are selling into Virtual Business School currently, outside of it being a cross-sell during launch, is with a monthly webinar. And the monthly webinar is basically what I teach around live-webinars, I guess you could call it, inside of our programs. And the live-webinar is, one specific topic where I go deep in it, teach on 3 things and then make an invitation. So, of course, we want to scale up this offer, drive the conversion rates, and then ultimately flip it evergreen. But we're not going to flip it evergreen until we really nail the core go-to-market webinar and the offer and get the conversion rates above where they need to be from a live perspective so that when it flips evergreen and the conversion rates drop, we still have a sustainable model. Okay. I said this all along, and I will say it again. I feel like it's actually harder to sell courses than it is to sell high ticket. That's another podcast for another day. But, one thing that we did after the last webinar that was really important strategically was I asked Ignacio, who is our executive director of the school, to start reaching out to participants that attended the webinar that didn't buy. And I said, just ask them why. Why didn't you buy? Thanks for coming to the webinar. Why didn't you buy? And you will be amazed. They very specifically told us why we didn't buy. And what had happened was this, and it's so interesting. I think this is why it's so important to make sure that we always have our ear to the ground. So all of our content, if you go follow us, we're a virtual business school, the virtual business school on Instagram. I'll put it in the show notes here. And all of the content is about starting your business. Actually, it's geared towards people that would be starting a side hustle. All of the content is geared towards people that are either working a job currently and starting a business, or someone that is like very early stage. Okay? So I assumed wrongly that because all of the content, hence all of the lead gen that we were doing, was specifically around the get started with your new business crowd, that would be what they would be looking for in a webinar, right? And so the webinar that I did last month was around getting started with your new side business, getting started with your first service-based business, okay? Well, when Ignacio did the follow-up and he spoke to 7 people that attended the webinar but did not buy, he got the same feedback over and over and over again. And the feedback was, I already have a business. I need to figure out social selling. I need to figure out how to get sales from social media. And that was basically the same feedback that he got from every single person that he talked to, which is amazing, by the way. I was shocked that it was the same feedback. So here I was thinking, okay, all of my content is around getting started with a new business. All of my content is around transitioning, leaving corporate, moving into the world of entrepreneurship. This is who we're attracting. This is the exact product we should offer. We have 13 different products currently in the virtual business school. And, so I created the content around that. And here, come to find out, based on the feedback from the participants, they actually wanted something completely different. Now, we, of course, have a product in the virtual business school that is a brand new product. It's a 2023 product on social selling, okay? So that was a very easy switch to make. And it was something that we could do immediately because it's a product that we already offer and it's a need that we're already supporting. And it was just a simple, pivot into that. But had we not taken the time to ask the participants that attended why they didn't buy, and had we assumed, which I would have, if I had not gotten that feedback, I would have assumed, I need to improve the webinar, or I need to make changes, or, I need to tweak this or tweak that about the offer. No, it was the wrong message and it was the wrong offer for the people that were showing up, even though all of the content was geared towards attracting total, brand new business owners. That's not who it's attracting. It's attracting people that have already been in business for a little while. They have a handful of customers, but they need to figure out how to generate leads and grow. So I just wanted to bring that to you here today on the podcast because, again, as I said at the beginning of this episode, I think so many times the basic foundational things that we do in the beginning of our journey that make us successful, we forget to do, we get bored of the basics, and then we begin to struggle. And this was a prime example of an assumption that I made that was incorrect, that by taking that one extra step to ask the participants directly why they didn't buy. And by the way, Ignacio actually got on the phone with people. So he actually invited them to converse directly with him, got the feedback, boom. Now our next webinar at the end of this month is completely focused on social selling. We already have a product in the mix that's on social selling. So I just want to share that all with you because that is something you can take immediate action on after any conversion event that you do, at the end of your launches, after you have a consultation. This is a tool to put in your tool belt every single day with your salespeople, and it will allow you to really be clear on any auxiliary products that you need to be offering or how you need to tweak the way that you're presenting your offer. Many times when you ask people why they didn't buy, they'll reference something like, oh, well, I didn't think it was for me because. And a lot of times you're talking to the person, you're like, this is exactly for you. This is exactly what you need. But in their operating reality, that's not what they got out of the conversation. So it's going to help you to better understand how to position what you're selling and how to set it up correctly in a specific way to ensure that it's landing. And for some of you, it may not be that you need to change your offer or that you need to change your conversion event. It may be that you need to change the way that you're positioning it to make sure that it lands. And you can get clarity on that by having these conversations. For some of you, you may need to tweak your offer. For some of you, you may need to change the content. For a lot of you, it's going to be simple tweaks in the way that you position the offer. But having these conversations is going to do something else really magical, which is for a lot of you, the person that you're talking to thinks that the product, program, or service isn't for them because of ABC. But when you get into a one-to-one conversation and you figure out that it is, by working through that live with them, you can help bring that person around to why, in fact, this is the right solution for them instead of losing that sale completely, because now you have a warm lead that's prepared to buy, that likes you, that trusts you, that spent time with you, but needs to feel that it's the exact right thing for them. So I hope this opens up lots of new sales for you this week. I hope that you will check out the Virtual Business School if you're an early stage entrepreneur. And I hope you will use this strategy as you go forward to hit your goals. Have a great week.